What has been the police response to some of your protests? Have they been sympathetic, or have they been just outright aggressive in terms of dealing and removing you from specific environment?
Yes, I will get to that in a sec. But first, regarding police, the crackdown by the government has been tremendous. They've made essentially slow marching in a road, which has been a fundamental human right and staple of democracy for centuries, essentially illegal. And so a lot of the police officers do realise that that is a draconian, ridiculous law. And from that perspective, a lot of them are unhappy about enforcing it because, as we established, just because they've been told to do it by their boss, just because their boss is the chief of police, doesn't mean they agree with it. And yet, a lot of the police officers are human beings who hear about the climate crisis and are worried about their future. They're worried about their children's futures. They're worried about what's happening now. And so, just because they're in that job doesn't mean they're so detached from it. So, yeah, a lot of them have been incredibly sympathetic.
They've been and but yeah, as we are discovering, they still have to enforce their laws, right? They don't have that kind of mechanism to say, okay, I don't believe in this law, therefore I'm not going to enforce it, because in the end it was voted through by a democratic government, right?
Well, they can choose not to enforce it. They all have the choice as human beings to not enforce it, just as we have the choice not to follow it. They can, very much within their physical power, to refuse to do it.
They could, but then where does society go, right? If we don't have any way of enforcing a democratically elected and democratically voted law, how do we survive as a society? How do we survive as a democracy if democracy can't be enforced?
Well, there's a difference between most laws, for example, don't murder people. 100% agree with that one. But there are lots of laws. For example, the right to protest is a fundamental democratic right. So a government taking away a fundamental democratic right, even if they were democratically elected, even if this government wasn't democratically elected, but the Conservatives were, that is taking away our democracy. Any healthy democracy has protest. So any law that cracks down on protest is undemocratic. So what we are doing is protecting democracy by not following these laws.
But you can still protest. You can still go to parliament and make with loads and loads of people, big up signs, shout. You can still do that. The right to protest is still there.
The right to protest completely ineffectively.
Well,
That won't work. The only way we can get anyone in the government to care about this is by causing disruption. Appealing to their morality by standing outside and saying, we're unhappy about this, isn't going to do anything. We need to give them no choice because they all earn a lot of money from the oil barons and from the oil companies, personally or not. There's a lot of vested interests there. And so standing outside Parliament is not going to be enough.
but okay, so in the past, what has been the ideal or effective protest? Because I don't think this has ever been legal, that you can just go onto a highway or go onto a road and just obstruct it. I don't think that's ever been legal.
It was legal until May this year.
I don't think, I mean, going onto like the M1. I don't think you're allowed to go onto the M1 and just stand there and start protesting. I don't think you're allowed to do that.
There are injunctions on major roads, which is a whole separate thing. But walking in the road on a march in a street has been legal. And I'll go into details. So Section 12 of the Public Order Act used to say before May, if a procession is causing major disruption, the police can declare it illegal and get rid of it. Whereas now they changed that to anything more than minor disruption, which can mean anything. You could be on the road for 5 seconds and the police declare that Section 12 illegal. And so it is unequivocally a crackdown on what has been a democratic right forever.
So then, is the way forward to elect Green MPs, Green Party MPs, in order to change these laws, or, for example, support the Labour Party to revoke and change these acts of Parliament?
Can you, in good faith, tell me that you think the Greens could win?
No, but I think
No.
they can definitely win more seats, and I definitely think they will win more seats in the
And
next coming election.
do you think that'll be enough? The Green Party having a couple more seats?
Well, the Lib Dems are in agreement with the Greens in terms of revoking that, and I mean, we've seen that the Conservatives will lose the next election. We've seen the by-elections yesterday. We've seen that. So I think more coalitions between Labour, the Greens, Lib Dems is a possibility, and there is opportunity to revoke this act of parliament, because as we know, in our parliamentary system, any act of parliament it's not permanent. It can be changed. It can be revoked.
But Keir Starmer said he would honour any oil licences the government grants now. So by electing Labour, electing in a coalition, Lib Dems, Greens, etc., it will not be enough. Our political system is broken. We're given a choice between two parties which are both intent on committing genocide.